Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to journey just a little outside of Bangkok to explore two of Thailand's most incredible, most unconventional shopping experiences. We're talking about a market that literally shares its space with an active railway and the amazing floating markets that bring the canals to life. So let's dive right in. So, I want to start with a question that gets right to the heart of our first stop. Just picture it. A busy, bustling, fresh food market. It's packed. Vendors are selling, people are shopping. Now, what do you think happens when a full-on commuter train is scheduled to plow directly through the middle of it multiple times a day? All right, here's the game plan for our little adventure today. We'll kick things off with that incredible market on the tracks. Then we'll have a face-off between two legendary floating markets. After that, we'll get into some unique cultural experiences involving fireflies and faith. We'll also look at why these places are so much more than tourist traps. They're real, authentic local hubs. And finally, I'll give you the ultimate guide to planning your own trip. First up is one of the most unique, most mind-bending attractions in all of Thailand. This is the one, the only, Maeklong Railway Market. The locals have a couple of nicknames for this place that, well, they pretty much tell you everything. It's called Talad Rom Hub, which means the umbrella pull-down market. And that's for the lightning-fast reflexes of the vendors. But it's also, and I'm not kidding, known as the life-risking market, which, yeah, that speaks for itself, doesn't it? So you'd probably assume the market just set up shop on some old, abandoned track, right? Well, the crazy part is, the real story is the other way around. A big, thriving local market was already right here, long before 1905. When officials decided to build a railway line straight through the middle of it, the vendors had a choice, move or adapt. And they chose to adapt, creating this amazing tradition that's lasted for over 100 years. And get this isn't some special event they put on for tourists once a day. Nope, this insane spectacle of a train slicing through an active market happens count 'em, 8 times every single day, all based on the official commuter train schedule. Watching it happen is just, wow. It is a masterclass in organized chaos. First, you hear the train's horn blare. Instantly, within seconds, vendors are pulling back their awnings, yanking their stalls out of the way, and clearing a path. Then the train just inches past, sometimes with only millimeters to spare from the vegetables laid out on the ground. And just as quickly as it's gone, poof, the market is back, like nothing ever happened. It's a perfectly choreographed dance between business and transportation. Okay, let's hop off the tracks and onto the water for a classic floating market face-off. We are putting two of the most famous markets near Bangkok head-to-head. You've got the world-famous Dam Non Sadok going up against the local favorite, Amphawa. So the difference between these two is pretty stark. Dam Non Sadok, that's the one you've probably seen all over Instagram, right? It's iconic, it's chaotic, it's open in the morning, and it is very, very tourist-focused. But then you've got Amphawa. It's a weekend market that comes alive in the afternoon and at night, and it has this totally different vibe. It's relaxed, it's atmospheric, and it's where the locals from Bangkok actually go to hang out. So, bottom line, if you're looking for that real, authentic Thai experience and you have to pick just one, the answer is pretty clear. Amphawa is the winner, hands down. It's just celebrated for its incredible, fairly priced food, the fact that you're surrounded by locals, and this absolutely magical nighttime atmosphere. But here's the thing about Amphawa. It's not just about the food and the shopping. There's this whole other side to it. These really unique, memorable cultural moments that you're just not going to find at the more touristy spots. If you happen to stay overnight or get there at dawn, you can see this absolutely beautiful and serene tradition. Local people gather by the river to give offerings of food to Buddhist monks who just silently paddle down the river in these small boats to collect them. It's a quiet, really powerful thing to witness. And then, when dusk falls, a totally different kind of magic happens. One visitor put it perfectly. They said, "The thing I impress most is the cruise on the river in the night to see firefly." You can hop on an evening boat tour and just watch as the riverbanks come alive, lit up by thousands and thousands of fireflies. With all this talk about trains and fireflies, it's actually kind of easy to forget the most important thing. At the end of the day, these aren't just tourist shows. They are 100% real, functioning local markets, and they are absolutely vital to their communities. Yeah, you're not going to find a bunch of cheap plastic souvenirs here. What you will find is the real deal. The stalls are packed with fresh and dried seafood, tons of local fruits and veggies, meat, incredible Thai desserts. This is the lifeblood of the local food scene. It's where residents do their actual shopping, which makes it a crucial economic hub for the whole region. Okay, are you totally inspired to go see this for yourself? I thought so. Let's get down to the practical stuff. Here's a quick guide with everything you need to know to plan a really smooth, stress-free trip out from Bangkok. So you've got a few ways to get there. The van or minibus is probably your best bet. It's a great balance, takes about an hour and a half, and costs around 100 baht. A private taxi, super easy, but it'll cost you. And then there's the train. The train is an adventure all on its own. It's ridiculously cheap, but it's a complicated, multi-part journey that takes over 3 hours. So unless you're up for a real challenge, the van is the way to go. And before you head out, let me give you a few pro tips to make sure your trip is amazing. First, bring cash. Most vendors don't take cards. Second, always double-check the train schedule before you go. You don't want to miss the main event. Also, try to arrive early. You'll beat the big crowds and the worst of the heat, especially if you're aiming for that 8:30 a.m. train. Oh, and definitely be on the lookout for scams. Just politely say no thank you to any random offers for overpriced tours. You know, when you think about it, the story of the Maeklong Market is so much more than just a cool place to visit. It's this incredible century-long story of resilience and human adaptation. And it kind of makes you think, right? If a whole market can learn to coexist with a train plowing through it 8 times a day, what unexpected challenges can we learn to adapt to in our own lives?